I'm Angel from Soul Colors.
And I'm Alina Phoenix of Phoenix Healing Creations. And this is the Angel and Phoenix podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are a couple of psychic energy healers just trying to figure things out in this crazy world. And today we're talking about health and healing. We're talking about neurodivergence. We're talking about what the healing journey has looked like for us as females born with challenges and extra sensitive systems. We talked a bit about these aspects on our last podcast. So if you want to hear more all about the things that we've been through, I invite you to check out that first episode. So, Angel, my first question is, what does healing and health mean to you?
I think it means a lot as a whole, being, healthy and just understanding the body of how I'm supposed to feel on a higher level as a human. So that's my main focus on a daily basis, and I think it has been from a very young age because of having struggles with birth defects and learning disabilities and different things to that degree. It led me into the medical field, health, and different things at a very early age. So that's always been one of the things that was on my top level and actually brought me to this healing path. So it ranks very high up there. Like that's my first thing that I always think about, deal with, and have an understanding towards on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I myself have always been very focused on healing and health, especially because I've had challenges from an extremely young age. Um, for me, healing and health, it's about learning how to feel good inside of my body, mind, and spirit, even though I've got challenges that, from a traditional standpoint, are never going to change. So,
Right.
like being born with birth defects, having a third of my intestine that was removed at a very young age, being deaf in my left ear from that birth injury, the genetic mutations that I live with. So, these are things that in traditional medicine are things that are never going to be able to fixed. And I know that in some energy healing communities and things like that, there's this idea that we can literally heal anything about our bodies. We can literally regrow new intestines, regrow my ear, all of this stuff. And while I think that that is a wonderful aspiration, I also feel like that's a little bit of hopium. As in, I hope these things are true. And
Right.
not necessarily connected with actual reality. And so for me, health and healing basically means functioning with the equipment that I've been given at the most optimal level that I can achieve, not necessarily that I'm going to get to a point where there's nothing wrong with me
Right.
in terms
Right.
of, somebody would look at me and be like, that is the pinnacle of human health and perfection. Like, I just don't think at this stage that I'm going to be at that level.
Right.
What has your experience been with that healing journey? I mean, given that you've also, come into this world with your own challenges, like what has it been like with, interacting with doctors and various practitioners, things like that?
I think I was exposed very early in life to spirituality slash religion, which put an imprint within me that no, I did not come to this world broken, but I came with many different pieces. And I had one or two choices. Either creator, God, however you want to look at it, was either going to choose to heal me, or either I was going to choose to accept what I was given. And then that healing me totally would be when I got my crown on the other side, because I came into this world with these many different pieces. And so at a very young age, like I said, it's always been that question in my mind. I wasn't sure exactly how that worked. I had seen people throughout my life to be instantly healed. And, and so I went down this thing of why not me? Why not me? Because, and then I would hear, because that's not in with your pieces. It's something you have to learn. It's something you have to um, experience to get that crown, per se, on the other side. So I've always had that. And then it was like, okay, I have to accept the cards I've been dealt. And through the medical system, you trust that, you believe in that, you do all of those things until you understand that it's just not a medical issue. For one, it could be many different reasons why that is there. And technically, that's what got me looking into different healing modalities, because I had seen all these people heal instantaneously in front of me. People I had known um, in my family, different things to that degree. So it was like, okay, how can they do it? So I think that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I can really relate to that feeling of why not me? I've seen
Right,
people overcome a lot of various different things, and then that always does kind of leave me thinking, well, why not me? And I've been to a lot of different, medical providers throughout my life. I did not really come in with a big foundation of spirituality, like, I was definitely tuned to a different dimension. I was raised a little bit Catholic, but they were kind of like the Easter and Christmas Catholics.
right,
Not the "We're totally invested, we're going every week, and this is actually part of our lives." But once it became clear that I was kind of, like, exploring, spirituality and, obsessed with ghosts and things like that, my parents kinda tried to push me into that, but that didn't work very well. But in terms of, like, practitioners, I know my mom was very holistic, and I was introduced to chiropractic and Chinese traditional medicine at a young age, and also the allopathic system. And for me as a female navigating those systems, I've had a lot of experiences of basically not being believed about what was going on with me, having my
right,
problems minimized and told that a lot of them were all in my head or that I was making things up. And so that actually made it very difficult for me to, um, get the help that I needed, I guess. Have you ever had
right.
experiences like that?
That was the majority of my childhood. my there was herbs and there was different folk remedies for certain things. I grew up in a very financial restricted home. And so insurance or doctor's visits were not added unless it was absolutely necessary. And so it was kind of a mix of that. But if you went to that healthcare provider or whatever, and there was no come of it, then that was not going to be an experience. So like I said, I've been through that. It's what's going on is mental. What's going on is this, that, and the other, and never really getting to the root of things, just adding more pharmaceuticals on top of the issue has been my experience.
Oh yeah, that's definitely been a challenge. And the other thing that I've really noticed about the healing journey is that it's definitely not a linear process. Like
No,
we really want things to be like, okay, I do A and B and that leads to C, me getting better. but that
Right.
has definitely not been my experience. I feel like it's been a lot more of a roller coaster ride, and I'm actually just coming off of a bit of a downswing where I just had probably the worst flare of the autoimmune symptoms that I've had in about 6 years. And that brought up a lot of various different feelings. And I've noticed that I'm not the only one going through that. And I think a lot of the big energies that are impacting the planet right now have a lot to do with that, because I've noticed that it wasn't just me. This seems to be a little bit more of a collective experience. A lot of the people that I've been talking to are having similar downswings in their functioning, whether that's on a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual level. What do you think about that?
I feel like that's very valid. I feel like with all these planet alignments, solar flares, everything we have going through our mental, physical, emotional, energetic level is individual as well as collective. And the things that are needing to clear for new things to come up is going to bring up that what I call residue within a contract or within whatever it is that you went through within your life. And so it's a lot when you think I've gotten it all, when you've done the work for years and I've gotten it all, it shouldn't be coming back. And it comes back up and you realize, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I didn't
Yeah.
get it all, but you have a different perspective.
Oh, for sure. It definitely happens in layers. And I really believe that we never really get to the point where, we never revisit another lesson. I've definitely
Right.
heard in the spiritual circles that if you just do the work enough, if you just go deep enough, that you will never have to repeat this lesson. But I just don't think that's
I don't
true.
believe it.
I think that it's more of a spiral and that we will revisit that lesson over and over again from a different perspective. I also think that you bring up a very valid point about, the debris that we thought that we've worked through coming up. I know that for myself, I've been on this healing journey a long time. And since it's been, more than 5 years since I had a flare of this magnitude, I thought that I was past having those kind of challenges. And I know that being thrown right back into the thick of it really threw me for an emotional loop. I was feeling a bunch of feelings of failure. I was, kind of being a little self-abusive, like, what's wrong with me? How can I be a healer and still have these problems? Why can't I figure this out? And then I kind of forget in those moments that, healing isn't linear and that we will, continue to have these challenges. And we're not also meant to do this alone. So I did go to my nutrition response testing practitioner, and what he was telling me is that he views this as more of a breakthrough. That my body is
Right.
now dealing with something old that has been dormant for a long time and suppressed because I wasn't at a physical ability to be able to handle it. And so that this coming up now and having this big flare was actually a good thing. And I'm like, oh, it feels great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't actually, take away anything from my ability to heal or my ability to figure things out. It's just we're not meant to do this alone. We are supposed to reach out for help because no one of us has all of the answers.
Exactly. I feel the same way when it comes to all of these energies. Like it has to come back up so it can clear in a different perspective because you did not have the same perspective towards health or the healing journey or you as a human spiritual being at that time. So it comes back up, I believe, to add to that spiritual knowledge and perception so you can kind of reach that next level of where you're going in your healing journey and how your healing journey can help others with your perspective of how you accepted it, reached out for help, dealt with those um, emotions, and placed them back in that neutral field of it cannot affect me, it's just flowing.
Yeah. I also think that it's really important to recognize that setbacks are a natural part of the healing process. Like we are definitely exposed to new things all the time. Our emotional state is going to change. And so, it's not actually a personal failing of any kind when we have a setback or when our symptoms erupt or get worse. It's just part of the natural progression of things, and I think it's important that people understand this about the healing journey so that they don't sit there and use it against themselves. I know that in a lot of the circles spiritually, they, talk about law of attraction, and when something bad happens, they will turn that on you and be like, "Well, what did you do to attract that?" And I don't feel like that's necessarily the right way to look at things because, if somebody had asked me, "Hey, do you want to be sick for 3 weeks and have a giant rash all over your neck and just feel
Right,
awful and be completely off the rails emotionally and not be able to think clear?" Like if somebody had asked me that, I would be like, "Absolutely no. Can I opt out, please? Like what do I need to do to avoid that?" And
right,
so I feel like it's important to give ourselves grace and also to make sure that we do reach out for help when we need it from people that can help us from an outside perspective because as a healer, I know in my experience the hardest person for me to heal has always been myself.
right, right.
What about
Yes,
you?
I've experienced that same kind of um, energy. I can tell you which way to go, what to do, how to do, what's causing it, this, that, and the other. And I went through this period in my life to where my body was not cooperating. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter how I ate. It didn't matter what I slept. But however, whatever, I was like in my mind on the line. I was walking the line. I was doing the Johnny Cash, and so this should not have happened. But it comes back to that healing of you may be doing everything, but they may be a contract. They may be an alignment of the planets or an upgrade within the body, and you can't completely control everything that you have signed up for in this life. And that's why it comes in layers because the human body cannot accept or release everything at one time. It's just not humanly possible. We would explode. And so I feel as that's why it comes in layers, and I think about that sometimes, like just exploding of everything coming in and leaving. That's just a magnificent thing that it's set up that way. Even though when we're going through it, it's for the birds, but if you look at it in the big picture, like that's totally awesome. Something up there set us up to where we could mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, with every molecule of our body, absorb light and become this awesome, quote unquote, human spiritual being. And that's just amazing in itself of how everything comes in.
It really is. It really is. And it's just um and I think the challenge is, the fact that they keep coming back, it also helps to keep us humble. Because
Yes,
I think that if we were to just be able to like fix ourselves like that, like, to just
right,
instantaneously heal ourselves, that would actually make us have a little bit less compassion and empathy for other people. Because if I could heal myself like this, like, why can't you? Like,
right,
so
right.
I do think that there's that component as well. So in your journey, what are some of the practitioners that have been most helpful to you? Like when you get to a point where you're stuck and you can't figure out yourself, like who are the people that you reach out to the most?
I am 110% chiropractic. I did not use chiropractic growing up. It was, like I said, folk medicine or either hardcore medical medicine, which there's nothing wrong with either of those. But think it has to be in moderation, but chiropractic, um, I do that twice a week, um, whether I have time or not. Um, and massage therapy, I'm really into massage therapy. Uh, what I call physical therapy is stretching the body. I really believe that that is something that we need to do on a daily. But there's a service or places that actually go in and you can get your body stretched, and they will stretch your body out for you. And that's an awesome service I use. Just a whole lot of holistic in my life right now. Red light therapy, different things that is going to be on that more holistic thing is what I look for. But those are my majors. That's like if something happens, I'm chiropractic, massage, red light therapy, and then stretch session, and that usually places me back in with the herbs and different things to that degree. But those are my go-tos.
I agree. Chiropractic is, one of mine. I definitely go a couple of times a month. I also do massage once a month. Nutrition response testing, that's another really good one because
Right,
that they use the muscle testing to figure out kind of what's wrong and exactly what you need. That was really between the chiropractic and the nutrition response testing, those were the 2 things that I needed to help me solve this issue that was going on. And then, I can't stress enough how important energy healing work has been in my
right,
healing journey as well. I know you are one of the person that I go to when I get stuck, and I have some other practitioners as well because we all have kind of our little areas of expertise.
right,
And, and it's something that I do for myself on a almost daily basis, working on keeping my energy balanced and my energy flowing in the proper direction and trying to keep my thoughts in a balanced perspective and giving myself loving support. Matt Kahn is one of my favorite teachers of some of those self-love, self-support teachings. I love the work of Cryon as far as teaching us our own divinity and how to use affirmations to talk to ourselves to activate our own self healing abilities. And gosh, there are just so many beautiful, wonderful people out there that are truly helpful to us. And for me, allopathic, God bless them. They have some things that they do really well. In an emergency, they are the best one for you. But gosh, I have so much harm from allopathic medicine that for me it's absolutely last resort. I'm only going there if I'm dying or afraid I'm going to
right,
die.
right, right, right. Um, you know, And to reiterate what you just said, there's a lot of people out here that are looking for different modalities and do not understand exactly how to go about it. And it's like, I can't add that to my budget, chiropractic or yada, yada. There's a lot of free resources out there on the internet. I do a lot of vibrational music. I do a lot of psi music, which is it goes into realigning the body into different tones. And so all of these things can be accessed online for free. And then that's how you can start your journey to working it up to going to that chiropractor or maybe getting in touch with that energy healer. So just because you feel as though you can't put the money out there, like I said, those free resources are there if you really look for them. And if it's someone listening and you're not sure exactly what to do, I'm sure you could contact me or Alina, and we could point you in the right direction of getting started to finding a better, healthy you without even placing in any financial
Oh,
to begin
absolutely.
with.
Absolutely.
I
And I know that, I know you have been very kind in donating your time and energy and resources in certain cases, as have I. I
right,
offer, certain options for free when you want to work with me, especially I do an ancestral group healing Zoom once a month where we release ancestral energies that are impacting us. And I allow people to join that at no cost. if that is where their finances are. And I also have some services that start as low as $22. So
Right,
it all just depends on where you're at. And, a good practitioner is going to work with you to find something that is going to fit both your needs and your budget. Um,
right,
and there's so many free resources, especially in terms of
right,
sound healing.
right, right. And I feel like that's where, if you don't know exactly where to start, there's so much information that you can start that without even placing financial into it. If it's mental, the spirit will lead you to each person and the financial stability to do what is needed to do for your body.
Absolutely. So, speaking of practitioners, what would you consider to be a red flag in terms of that's maybe not the right practitioner for you?
Oh, I could go on this subject. Just make sure that it is aligned to your being. And if it sounds like a used car salesman, it probably is. And what I mean by that, if someone comes across or you come across certain things and you can't tell a difference after the first initial interaction of how your energy feels. The body will let you know what practitioner you need to be with. But outside of that, if there are things in which you feel uncomfortable with, just go with that feeling. And these people out here that tell you, oh, well, you can do this, 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 and this, and you're not doing enough work. Yeah, and you have a lot of people in that spiritual community that will say, well, you're not doing the work correctly. For people, it's already on the path. Or you're not doing this, or you're not doing that. Because I've ran into quite a few practitioners. If you use my formula, this will happen. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, it may, but if you're waiting on that formula to make something happen for you, that is not the practitioner for you. It's just not, and that's a big red flag for me. If it's more of a push of you're not doing the work, or you must do more, because there's a lot of that out there.
For
Like you
sure. I
said, the wrong.
agree. For me, big red flags are any kind of a one size fits all recommendation.
Right,
Anyone that's like, if you just follow my program,
right,
and then basically, if it doesn't work for you, instead of being like, well, maybe my program wasn't the quite right one for you, they're going to find fault with you. That's kind of,
right.
I feel like, a little bit what you were talking about. But one size fits all never works. Like there is no one size fits all right diet. There is no one size fits all right
Right,
herb. There's no one size fits all right therapy or supplement or medication ever. We are all biologically different and need different
exactly.
things. So I feel like if there is a practitioner that is literally just making the same recommendations to every single person, and any kind of pressure that you have to do this, that's a big red flag too. Like you have
Right,
to do this or else.
right,
Anyone who ever sits there and tells you like you have to do what I say or else, just run in the other direction because they are not having your best interests at heart. And, I feel like the other thing too, I agree with Angel, pay attention to your energy. How does it feel in your body? If your gut is saying this person, mm, if you have that fear arising inside of you in regards to that person, like they're not the right person for you. The right practitioner you're going to feel comfortable with. They're going to have compassion for you. They're going to listen to you. Any amount of gaslighting you or putting you down or blaming you for what you're going through, those are big red flags.
right,
While it is true that we do need to make lifestyle changes in order to achieve the health and well-being that we desire and deserve, it does not help anyone to shame them because they have not made all of those changes right now.
Right. It's a process.
It is a
I
process.
believe, and a true practitioner is going to help you navigate that process. They may give you a guideline of what is supposed to be done to get to point from point A to point B. But if you have not made it to that point B, I think a good practitioner is going to redirect the energy in your mind, body, spirit, however, to help you come to the point to where you can get to be is the way I look at that on a whole.
I agree. I feel like, the a good practitioner is going to kind of hold your hand and take you on a step-by-step basis. And in my personal journey, because so many things in my life needed to change, like for instance, I've got the MTHFR genetic mutation, which means that my body does not detox well and is extra sensitive to toxins. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's toxins everywhere.
Right,
And
right,
so to try and detox your world and like get all of the toxins out of your diet and your cleaning products and your cookware and your personal care products and your clothing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and trying to do that all at once in one fell swoop, it's unrealistic, it's overwhelming. And basically, you need to take it in this step by step process. And we just
right,
do one
right,
step at a time. We make these changes this month, and we kind of got to prioritize how we need to do the changes. What are the most important changes to make? And once we've made that change and we're comfortable with it, now we add the next one. Now we add the next one.
right.
Because the getting better process is just like the getting worse process was barring an
Exactly.
acute barring an acute incident like an accident, a severe illness, or a poisoning where you just get worse, like falling off of a cliff. Typically, when you develop some sort of a chronic condition, which more than half of this country in America suffers from a chronic condition, it didn't happen all at once. It was a little at a time, little at a time, little at a time, with occasionally falling off a cliff.
Right, right, right,
Getting better is the same way. You'll do it a little at a time, a little at a time, a little at a time, and sometimes you'll experience a big breakthrough and get a lot better all at once. And then you're also going to have those setbacks, those new exposures, those things that come up inside of our body that our body wasn't able to handle before, but it can handle now. And so, oh boy, you get to do a new healing process all over again. Joy of all
right,
joys.
right. It's never ending. I believe, yeah. Um, and I tell my clients, change one thing a week. Focus on one thing a week. Maybe it's drinking 4 glasses of water instead of none, or something simple that you know that you can change during the week and you can stick with. And then you just slowly but surely through that month add those things. Those 4 different things because there's 4 weeks in a month. You change those 4 different things, but make them simple because I think sometimes that's how we get down on ourselves. We go, okay, I know I need to change. Like you said, overwhelming, doing it all at one time. And then when we kind of have a step back into that energy, we're down on ourselves again. So by changing one thing a week, you only have to focus on that and your life's still going. Have the Brussels sprouts instead of the French fries from McDonald's. I know McDonald's doesn't have Brussels sprouts, but I'm saying instead of having the McDonald's eat the Brussels sprouts.
Well, Red
Um,
Robin does. So if you go to Red Robin, they do have Brussels sprouts now, and they're
uh,
delicious.
Oh, okay, okay. See, I mean, that's one thing you change. Maybe you change when you brush your teeth in the morning. You're predominantly right-handed. You brush it with your left hand, and you go through and you tell yourself how beautiful you are or how you're going to accomplish your day. It's saying when you change the dominant hand into the other hand, you're downloading the other side of the brain. So if you're right-handed and you're brushing your teeth going through your daily, then it's the same program. But if you go in and you brush your teeth with the non-dominant hand, you're putting in a different program, and the body will accept it better. And I've noticed that a lot of people can't do it with that opposite hand. So if any of you guys wonder if I'm actually telling the truth, try that for a week. Just
Oh my
changing
gosh.
that.
It's amazing what a small change like that will do.
Right,
That literally creates new neural pathways in your brain when you do that. And even something simple like changing the way that you go home from work, taking a different
right,
route instead of the route that you take all the time can really, change some neural pathways. And that also tells your body, I'm doing something different. And that
right.
opens your body's willingness to start manifesting different things. So that's a really important thing is just changing the way we do little things, using a different hand, taking a different route. And as far as a resource to help you with creating new habits and dropping poor habits. There's a particular book that I've read that I found very helpful called Atomic Habits by James Clear that I found to be very practical and helpful in terms of learning how to develop new habits. Like one of my favorite tactics from that book that I use is called habit stacking. And so let's say you want to start taking supplements every single day, but you have trouble remembering that. Okay. So what you do is, first of all, you want to make it easy. And so you put all of your supplements in like that, one of those daily containers so that you don't have to sit there and open every single bottle every single day. You just do that once a week, you fill your container. And then you put your container next to something that you're already doing every day, like brushing your teeth. And so I take my supplements, I brush my teeth because you've already got that established teeth brushing habits. So you put your new habit right next to that, and it makes it easier for you to remember to do it. So that book, I highly recommend it, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's very practical, and I'm someone that loves practical, applicable things.
I as well. Because that's how you integrate it into your daily. If it is something drawn out, if it is something difficult in your mind to start with, you're not going to what I call latch onto that and put that in your daily. So I'm very practical when it comes to my everyday energy work and habits and different things to that degree, because that's what makes it work, is those practical little things you do to add to your daily to keep in track with what you're doing mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically.
Oh, I agree with that completely. And there is some challenges when it comes to those kind of practical habits too. Uh I personally identify as someone that's a little bit ADHD, little neurodivergent, neurospicy. Would you also
Right,
consider yourself to be a little bit neurodivergent?
I'm very neurodivergent and have been since I hit this earth.
Oh,
um
same.
so it works differently than a regular neurotypical human being, which they know they can go into the bathroom and get their shoe, whatever their schedule. We may go back 3 times before we pick up what we actually went in there to pick up.
Oh,
So
yes.
I use a lot of color um, to help me navigate those neuri in my brain of, okay, did I pick it up? Did I take it? Did I do this? Did I do that? So there's color throughout my house, throughout different things. Like pink is a color for supplements or whatever, whatever. And you can get a dollar thing of sticky notes that's rainbow at the Dollar Tree, and just stick them all over everything. And then you get used to in that spot of that color. Okay, have I done all my orange? Have I done all my yellow? And different things to that degree. So yeah, that's how I go about it.
Oh, that's really cool. I never thought about using color in that way. I might try that. For me, it's all about keeping things in certain spaces. Like, to make sure that I drink enough beverages. Like I have, let's see, one, two, three, four. So I have my 4 beverages that I get set up at the beginning of the day, and I keep next to me so that they are top of mind because otherwise I will forget to drink. Or, I know I'm supposed to eat breakfast. My body wants me to eat breakfast. That's something that I consistently forget to do is eat. And so what I've started doing is before I go to bed every night, I make myself a protein shake and I have that ready. And I actually put it in the bathroom so that when I wake up in the morning and I go to the bathroom, my protein shake is right there and it's already ready to go. And I remember to eat.
I have to do the same thing with the drinking and the eating thing. I keep a cup of some sort on the corner or of every room. So the bedroom there's a cup, and I redo it every morning. And as far as for breakfast and different things to that degree, I will place it on the mirror with the sticky note with the color. So
Nice.
my eating color is yellow because that's what makes me happy, healthy, solar plexus area, digestion, different things to that degree. So the yellow sticky notes are throughout everywhere.
So, out of curiosity, do you think that there is a connection between neurodivergence and psychic ability? Because I really do think that there is.
Yes, I thoroughly believe there's actually been science published. I don't have it with me, but I actually looked at a lot of things in my college years, my late teens, early 20s, because it became a real big problem for me. When you're um, fixing that third eye or balancing that third eye and that crown, energies and different things can throw it out and make you have that neurodivergent kind of energy. And so I looked into it very, like I said, very young in life of like, okay, is this a gift from God, creator, universe? How am I supposed to use it? Yeah, I think it's very high on the spectrum of every human in which is some form of neurodivergent is straight from a higher energy, a higher understanding, because their brain, it's clinically proven that their brain is wired differently.
Yes,
And
I've
so it
even
runs
seen
so quickly.
I've
Go
seen
ahead.
ADHD defined as or like the acronym ADHD, attention dialed to a higher dimension. And I know that in the ADHD support groups that I'm in online, there's a very, very high degree of sensitive people, of empaths, especially people that are super attuned to the emotions and everything of those around them.
Yes, I believe that. Your autism children and different things to that degree, adults, that's your star seeds coming in. Their their brain, their habits, their understanding is on a totally different wavelength um, because it runs so much faster, and that's why we talk so fast, and that's why we can't stand slow people and different things to that degree because it's already processed and
Oh,
other
yeah. And it's
people are
also
processed.
why we interrupt each other all the time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, it's really very interesting because I feel like in the Cryon work, he talks about, people with ADHD and autism have a much more multi-dimensional way of looking at things, and that teaching them actually needs to be adjusted because you can give them a concept and they understand the concept like that. But if you want to make them break it down and do the steps, like they can't do that. I always hated that in school. It's like, I got the right answer. That's the right answer. Well, show your work. I don't know how to show my work because I saw the
Right.
problem. This is the answer. I
Exactly.
just knew like I it just how am I supposed to show the way that my brain went from here's the question, ding, answer, like how do I show the work for that?
Exactly. Exactly. And if you look back in history, you have Albert Einstein, you have Tesla. These were neurodivergents. They were on the autism spectrum of what we understand today. They could not do much language as far as for in school or whatever. Einstein, but science and math he excelled, and they explained he had to learn the rest. So why do you have to learn the rest? He's science and math. That's what spirit sent him for.
Yes.
so I think that gets caught up in our society, in our collective school, different things to that degree of placing these different things on children, which I know that they need to learn to read and write and different things to that degree. Um, but there's also a level of higher understanding that makes scientists, that make just little humans or adult humans walking around, that is at a higher level of understanding and does not need to communicate the way we have been taught to communicate, or does not need to be the way we are taught to be done.
I
So I
agree
think a
with
lot
that.
of
And
that,
I also think that, those of us who are considered neurodivergent in older cultures were considered to be the healers and the shamans in a lot of
I
cases.
don't,
And
yes,
so, it's only now that we're starting to, as a society, start recognizing these gifts as gifts. But we've been talking for about 45 minutes now, and so I think I would like to start moving into our healing for today. And
okay.
so we didn't receive any questions from the audience yet. This is only our second blog, and so if you or blog podcast, words. um,
It could be a
it takes
blog.
time to it takes time to build an audience. And so if you do happen to be listening to this, if you've got a question for us, we invite you to send it in. Please submit your questions to us via email at angelphoenixpodcast@yahoo.com. We also invite you to like, subscribe, and comment wherever you see this. And please do share this with your friends, especially if you found any of what we have been discussing helpful. We definitely want you to know that this healing journey is messy. It's not straightforward. And wherever you are on your healing journey, it is okay and you are not alone. And so for today's little energy healing offering from Angel and I, we are going to focus on bringing in the energies of health and well-being into your body, whatever that looks like according to you and your own inner wisdom. So Angel, I would like you to please lead us with some of your beautiful breath and color work, please.
All right. So just kind of relax your body, come into the rhythm of your breath, and we want to download the feeling of healthy, which is in the creator's original blueprint for you as an individual. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath, and as you breathe in, you're going to breathe in this energy, and you're going to hold to the count of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're going to exhale. And you're just going to sit a minute in the body, and then we're going to breathe in again. And as we breathe in this time and hold for the count of 8, a color is going to pop up for you. A feeling may come along with it. Um, Everyone is different. So we're going to breathe in from the diaphragm, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale and kind of feel into the body. And now, this last cycle of breath, you have your color. So you're going to breathe in this color, and you're going to hold for the count of 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Now, your body, I want you to feel into it just for a moment, the physical body. Now we're going to feel into the energetic body, the mental body, and the emotional body. And this is going to come together as a whole within you as healthy. Accept, allow this energy of healthy. All right.
That was beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so now I'd like to share with you 5 affirmations to help you create more health and well-being in your life. The best affirmations are the ones that are aligned with the truth of your inner being. These are phrased to meet us where we are and honor that we might not be feeling as healthy and well as we would like to be just yet, but we're open to moving more in that direction. So I'm going to go slowly. I'm going to say these a little bit at a time, and I invite you to please repeat these out loud after me. I recognize
I recognize
that my consciousness
that my consciousness
is in charge
is in charge,
of my physical body,
is in charge of my physical body,
and I choose
and I choose
to bring this connection
to bring this connection
into greater awareness now.
into greater awareness now.
I ask my body
I ask my body
to listen to me now
to listen to me now
and to manifest
and to manifest
greater health and well-being
greater health and well-being
on a daily basis.
on a daily basis.
Dear body,
Dear body,
if something is good for me,
if something is good for me,
make me feel it.
make me feel it,
Make me crave it.
make me crave it,
Make it taste good.
make it taste good.
Let me know.
Let me know.
I give permission
I give permission
for this communication
for this communication
and change to happen.
and change to happen.
Dear body,
Dear body,
if something is bad for me,
if something is bad for me,
make me feel it.
make me feel it,
Make it repellent.
make it repellent,
Make it taste disgusting.
make it taste disgusting.
Let me know.
Let me know.
I give permission
I give permission
for this communication
for this communication
and change to happen.
and change to happen.
Thank you, my dear body,
Thank you, my dear body,
for keeping me alive every day
for keeping me alive every day
and for working with me
and for working with me
in a better and more conscious way,
in a better and more conscious way,
starting now,
starting now,
to create health
to create health
and well-being
and well-being
in my life.
in my life.
Okay, so Angel, I'm going to have you be silent this time, and this time I'm just going to read these through slowly all at once so that you have the full statement. And you are welcome to simply repeat these silently inside of your mind after me. I recognize that my consciousness is in charge of my physical body, and I choose to bring this connection into greater awareness now. I ask my body to listen to me now and to manifest greater health and well-being on a daily basis. Dear body, if something is good for me, make me feel it, make me crave it, make it taste good. Let me know. I give permission for this communication and change to happen. Dear body, If something is bad for me, make me feel it. Make it repellent. Make it taste disgusting. Let me know. I give permission for this communication and change to happen. Thank you, my dear body, for keeping me alive every day and for working with me in a better and more conscious way starting now to create greater health and well-being in my life. So these are my own personal affirmations, and especially the ones about if something is good for me or bad for me. I noticed after I started doing those affirmations, my diet shifted really quite effortlessly on my part. And a lot of the things that I used to like and eat on a daily basis just sort of naturally faded out of my diet. And I started really enjoying and adding in other things that I never really used to like or even consider in a very natural way. And so that is my intention for you in sharing these affirmations, is to help you work with your body to find out exactly what is the right thing for you and to do it in a way that is easy, natural, and doesn't feel like it takes a lot of effort. So please use those affirmations as many times as you need until you start feeling those changes for yourself. And so, Angel, do you have any last thoughts that you would like to share before we sign off?
Nothing that is poignant. Just remember to breathe and to be gentle with yourself and know that with everything flowing through, whether you feel like you're having grace towards it or not, it is leading you to your higher path, your higher understanding, and this too shall pass.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely. And I would definitely say that the most important thing that we can do, especially if we are feeling very challenged, is to be kind to ourselves. And I know as someone who has struggled with patterns of self-abuse in my life, being kind to myself did not come naturally, and it was definitely a practice. So
Right.
definitely practice kindness towards yourself. So, thank you so much for joining us today for this podcast on health and healing. We hope that you found something helpful and useful and comforting here that assists you to navigate your own healing journey in a more effective way. Please do like, subscribe, send us feedback. We really want to know what you think about all of these things we're talking about. And if you have any questions or thoughts for us, please reach out to us at AngelPhoenixPodcast@yahoo.com. So until the next time, namaste.
Take care.